What's going on? This is No Bad Days. I'm Ryan. Welcome back. I just want to say a big thanks to everybody for all the views and the engagement on the past few videos. It seems everybody really enjoys the car content. It doesn't mean I'm not going to talk about all the other important things in life, but I'm just going to kind of stick with what's working right now. To be honest, life's been so busy with my new career that I haven't really had a chance to kind of think about anything else other than working on the new gig and making the most of the free time I do have, which is pretty quite amazing now. How much more time I actually do have to spend with family and friends, get outside. I've been on a couple vacations already and it's been amazing. So I'm finally starting to get to that point in my life where I can kind of get that balance between work, play, and all that good stuff. So it's nice, after years of grinding and grinding and grinding, to kind of find something that really does suit me, that I enjoy, I'm passionate about. So I'm stoked on that. In turn, it gives me a little bit more time to enjoy my toys. So today I just want to talk about the 5 things or the 5 reasons why not to buy a Mercedes W203 Sport Coupe, or W203 for that matter. Obviously they come in all different spec. And 5 reasons why I love one and why you should buy one. So we might as well we'll start with the negative. I hate to talk about negative stuff, but hey, we got to talk about it at some point. So at number 5, it's got an ugly rear. Like, the back of the car is ugly. It's kind of like round and like there's nothing to it. The trunk doesn't really exist. Now, in all fairness, mine's got modifications to it to clean up that look. But the factory one, it's just ugly. The taillights are ugly. There's nothing to it. So if you imagine on a regular one, there's no duckbill spoiler, there's no diffuser, no exhaust, and so on. So that's number 5. Number 4, cheap interior. Now again, remember, mine's modified, the interior's not. Like the seats, like the cheapy cloth, which is fine, it's not an expensive car. All the gauges and dials and stuff are really kind of crappy and cheap. They get all gummy. This is an aftermarket head unit, so ignore that. It's just a cheap interior, and like parts are always falling off, cracking, breaking. But it's an 18-year-old car, so obviously things are starting to get brittle, but still, it's cheap. I don't like it. For being a Mercedes or a European kind of luxury car, you would think that it would be in a much better quality. At number 3, rust and mechanical issues. So these things in North America are brutal for rust. It's really a no-win thing. There's nothing you can do to get around it. But it's more like, it's not so much the exterior. Now, I've had paint work done on mine, and obviously it's repairable and stuff like that. But it's really the underbody. So if you're ever looking at buying one of these, any W203 or any Mercedes or car for that matter, in North America, check the underbody, check the frame rails, check all the parts underneath, all the moving parts like your sway bars, links and stuff like that, because that's where you're going to find the problems. I've had a bunch of issues, even with mine. Now, with the suspension I have on here, they're coilovers. They're from a terrible brand. Those were an exception. Those rusted in 2 weeks. So don't buy them from the company I got them from. If you want to know what company they are, I will I'll list it in the comments, but I'm not going to tag them because they don't deserve any credit because they're terrible. So yeah, watch for rust. It's really bad on these things, and it can be, the end of the vehicle. Number 2, underpowered. These are V6. This is a V6 C320. With that, 215 horsepower at the crank. So that's nothing. It's my BMW, that's a V6, naturally aspirated, makes 40, 50 more horsepower from the factory. It's really underpowered for the size of the car, and it's heavy. It's a 3,300 pound car in a little coupe. The vast majority of that weight comes from this big panoramic glass roof. If you can get a slick top version, like the non-sunroof version, much better option. But yeah, heavy car and underpowered, so they're sluggish. And at number 1, it's going to be lack of parts. Every single thing on this is exclusive to the Sport Coupe, and I'm not talking about the modifications, I'm talking about from the factory. So every single part, your fenders, your headlights, your hood, front bumper, every single part is exclusive to the Sport Coupe. Does not share any same parts with the Sport or sedan, which is crazy. From a business standpoint, makes no sense. From a manufacturer standpoint, makes no sense. I don't know why they did it, but it's a royal pain trying to get parts for these. I tried to get new fenders for this rather than repairing and painting them, and next to impossible to find a brand new set. For that matter, I couldn't find a brand new set anywhere. That's like in the entire world. I could find used sets, but if I'm going to buy a used set, might as well repair mine. No aftermarket support either. Like, there's maybe a couple lip kits out there in the world. They're a ton of money for them because they're so limited. So no aftermarket support. The engine doesn't lend well to modification. There's not a ton of stuff you can do to it short of boosting it. And you know, boosting an NA motor, what's the point? Might as well swap it. You know, you can argue with that, but I'd rather just V8 swap it with something bigger, more powerful, and just get away from it altogether. So yeah, lack of support, aftermarket wise, makes it for a pain. So, you know, those are my top 5 reasons not to buy one. You know, they have mechanical issues, they have electrical issues, not as bad as a lot of the other manufacturers. Like, I can't complain. This car's 330, almost 30,000 kilometers on it. So it's seen its days, you know, but like the fact of the matter is that a lot of stuff can go wrong, but like with any other car, but there are specific issues, and you know, you just got to be wary of that. So there's a little bit of maintenance cost, but in the grand scheme of things, people think European cars, especially like BMW, Mercedes, stuff like that, are expensive to maintain. They're no more expensive than anything else. Maybe when they're brand new and you're taking them to the dealership, maybe, but if you're doing it on your own or through like local mechanics and stuff like that, they're not expensive to maintain, no different than any other vehicle. This one runs double the number of spark plugs that most vehicles do. So instead of 6, it runs 12. So in that sense, a little bit pricier, but in the grand scheme of things, not too bad. So now let's get into the good stuff. So the top 5 things that I love about just the W203 CL203 Sport Coupe. So mine in particular obviously has been modified, but first and foremost would be price. You should be able to pick these up for very inexpensive. Mine in particular, I got off a guy who was moving, and I picked it up for, let's just say, a steal. I had an E36 Coupe when I had this. I wasn't looking for another car. The opportunity came up for it, and I just kind of jumped on it. I never had any interest in them, but you know, a deal's a deal, and who can pass up a good deal on a car like this? Number 4, rear-wheel drive. So that's a big thing that I was looking for in you know, as a toy fun weekend vehicle. I wanted it rear-wheel drive so I can have some fun with it, whether that's out at the track or playing around with friends. So yeah, rear-wheel drive, huge benefit there. There's not a ton of vehicles out there that are, as well as number 3, manual. So manual rear-wheel drive. Aside from BMWs, you know, you have the 350Z, stuff like that, but like in the affordability standpoint, these are amazing cars if you can find a manual rear-wheel drive spec. Most of this, well, a lot of the sedans are going to be 4MATIC, so all-wheel drive. That's not what I was looking for. I have a car that does that. I was looking for rear-wheel drive and manual. So those are number 4 and 3 for me. Rear-wheel drive, manual, way more fun for me to drive. Again, not as my daily, but just all around. Sorry, that was number 4 and 3. I'm sorry. Number 2 is the stance. Now this is in particular to mine, not somebody else's, but the fact that the way mine is currently set up. From factory, they look terrible. They're the ugly duckling, and I love the way mine is currently set up. So, you know, it's low, wide, and that's kind of how I like all my vehicles to kind of look. It's just a personal preference thing. Everybody's got their own, but as you can see, this thing sits quite low to the ground, and it's wide. There's 10-inch wide rear wheels, 8.5 fronts, and yeah, that's how I like the look of it. Fill out those fenders. No wheel gap. You're not fitting any fingers between tire and fender, and that's one of the major things that I love about it. It's just got a good presence when it's sitting and rolling. It's not like you see many of these around, and especially this one being unique with the V6 and the manual, kind of stands out a little bit. And number 1 is the uniqueness. I guess it goes back to the number 1 thing that I hate about the car. The number 1 thing that I love about the car is the fact that you can't get parts for these without you know, spending a gazillion dollars on Brabus kits and things like that. So the only way you can get parts is to custom make them. So everything you see on this car is made for a different vehicle that I've made to fit this vehicle. So anywhere from like that rear diffuser, that's for a Mitsubishi Evo 9 wide body kit. that I made fit on this. Obviously the wheels are wheels. Side skirts are a universal side skirt that I made to fit. Rear lip spoilers for a bunch of different vehicles. Front lip is universal that I made fit. Splitters, again, everything on this is custom to this vehicle. Hood vent was for a BMW E30, fully functional. So that's the one thing that I do love about this, is that everything for this vehicle is specific, made by me for this vehicle. So I'm not going to see another one. So you can't beat that. It's as unique as you're going to get. And that's what I love about it at the end of the day. All right, so security just left. That was the weirdest thing. He had a mannequin head in the back seat. That's creepy as all hell. So yeah, like I was saying, top 5 things that I love, top 5 things that I hate about the vehicle. At the end of the day, these are very affordable rear-wheel drive cars that you can get. They come in a ton of different motor options. They come in a 4-cylinder diesel. They come in a 4-cylinder supercharged. They come in the V6 in North America. So lots of different options that way. You know, you can get cheap coilovers for them. You can make the car look half decent for a very reasonable price, but you're not going to make it overly unique without, you know, custom making stuff. So don't be afraid to custom build stuff. Very little investment into it except for some time, and don't be afraid to explore what's out there. You know, get inspired by other ones you see, get inspired by other vehicles, similar shapes to it, and take measurements of stuff. That's what I did. I would go around just measuring other people's cars to see what stuff would fit. I've had a bunch of different iterations of parts on this car. I kind of change it annually just because I get sick of stuff. And I've been lucky enough to find a ton of stuff. A lot of 350Z stuff fits. And don't be afraid to chop stuff up. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of finish up the video and talk about a few other things. I mentioned at the start, I was grateful for all, you know, all the engagement and all the messages and comments and stuff like that, and especially in regards to the car stuff. But I'm also very grateful that I've seen an increase in the engagement on the mental health addiction stuff that, you know, I'm super passionate about. It's a major part of my life. It's because of that stuff that I'm able to have a car, a driver's license, you know, a bank account, and, you know, amazing people in my life. I just want that to be, you know, an important takeaway from this, is that none of this would be possible, none of it, like this conversation wouldn't be happening because I wouldn't be able to afford a camera, without finding recovery for myself personally. And I owe that to so many people, and you know, people in the car community. Some of my best friends from the car community from years and years ago are the ones that helped me, you know, get and stay sober. You know, one of my best friends who's a quite popular builder, you know, I've known him long before we were into cars, you know, was the one that helped me get to treatment and stuff like that. So I'm so grateful for the car community, as well as all of my friends, family, and people that support myself and everybody else that's facing, you know, daily challenges and life challenges. So the way I like to explain it is I call it living problems. You know, it's everybody's got them. It just depends what you know, what yours is, and your, you know, we all have them. So I'm really grateful for that, and I'm grateful that I have a platform to be able to talk about that openly. You know, I'm proud of where I'm at today. I'm not afraid to talk about the struggles I've faced, because they are not who I am, but they're part of me. They are an important chapter of my life. I don't try to hide them or run from them. I find by telling my story and embracing it can only allow more people to talk more openly about it. So like I said, none of this would be possible today. You know, 5 years ago, I didn't have a driver's license, and today I've got a couple cars. I get to play with them, modify them. I have more coming down the pipeline, and that was all through embracing positive change in my life and going for it. So just like anything, whether it's recovery, you know, challenges in life, new careers, things like that, the most important thing is to just engage in it and go for it. You have to commit to it. It doesn't mean you're going to be successful your first try, but if there's something you're really passionate about and you want to achieve, you have to try it. And nothing can hurt by trying something that's a positive change. Like I said to everybody that I kind of talked to, I'm like, I really embrace and support anybody trying anything that's positive. Try it. You know, nothing bad can come from it. If it's a negative thing, you know, don't try it. Don't try crazy things, but you know, anything positive, moving forward, keep trying it, level up, make those changes. Just like I had to, you know, I had to level up in my career and things like that. And it's brought about amazing things that I never thought were really possible. And I don't mean financially, I just mean in my life, to actually have the time, you know, in the middle of this sunny day to get out and do this, because I have a break between clients. So it's amazing. I can do these things that I haven't been able to do for a very long time. I thought the most important in life was me working the most. You know, put in those 100-hour work weeks and it'll be rewarding. at the end of the day, if you don't have time to even spend the money you make, what's it worth? You know, like, it's just not worth it. You got to have that work-life balance, find what works for you, and go for it. So I'm very grateful for everybody and everything, all the support. Comment, share, you know, click the like button, subscribe. It really helps me in the algorithm to get more views out to more people. For me, I don't care about the views in terms of like personal reward. It's important for me to get out the word to the people that need to see it, because who knows where somebody's at in their life, that they click on a video it's about cars, and the next thing they know, they've realized they need to make some changes in their life. So that's what I'm out here doing, just trying to make people realize that anything is possible if you're willing to put in the effort. Everything good in life takes a little bit of work, and be patient. That's the most important thing. Be patient. Nothing comes overnight. Like I said, there's been a few vehicles before this one. My first vehicle in recovery, so I'm going to talk about just in recovery aspects. So little under 5 years ago was a Lexus GS 400, fully rusted out bottom, had to go to the dump. Then I got into a BMW E36. Then I got a Volkswagen Passat wagon, this, and BMW E60. So in under 4 years, those are all the vehicles I've had. So obviously I like to have new cars and engage and play with them and tinker with them and stuff like that, but that's happened all in 4 years. If I can do it, you can do it. Look for those good deals, go after what you want, and make it happen. Selfie rollers. Who knows how those will turn out? Probably whack, but gotta do what you gotta do. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate everybody, and I hope everybody has a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day out here. I think I found the new hotspot. It's a great spot to chat, you know, and do donuts. Don't do donuts. Anyways, have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. This is No Bad Days. I'm Ryan. Take care.